First off, want to give credit to Alabama for doing a great job tonight. Certainly whipped us pretty good, and really didn't have many counter punches for them. Just got out coached and outplayed today. So with that, I'll let y'all ask you questions.
Mark, those two scores, quick scores for the half, kind of really cost it when they 10-3, then it jumped to 24-3 right quick.
It did, you know, dam broke a little bit, and like I said, we didn't really have any good counter punches even coming back in the second half. You know, you'd like to, reduce that a little bit, and it just didn't happen. Too many mistakes, and they played well.
Coach, should we read a lot into what happened with the quarterback play there, or was that just trying to let's see if somebody else can?
Yeah, we're just trying to find some answers, trying to find some spark. I would say we are going to just have to, reevaluate everything. Quarterback play, everything. So, we'll see where we land. But yeah, the big thing was trying to find, a change of momentum. It just didn't happen.
Mark, you had a few opportunities, the first few series, the first play of the game, the fumble in their territory, the penalty that gave you the first and goal, and you had 3 points out of it. How hard is it when you have that many opportunities and you don't get any?
Yeah, that was the thing. Early on we just weren't very opportunistic. Like you said, the first play of the game, we did have a shot if we hit them on the run to have a big play, if not a touchdown. Just couldn't quite place it where we needed to. Like you said, you kick a field goal and then they rough the snapper. So, you sit there and, should I take points off the board? Should I not? But, you got to take the points off the board and try to get a touchdown. We about found a way to keep from even having a field goal attempt there in a minute. About to attempt a 52-yarder, it looked like. But, fortunately we scrambled around and got the ball down the field close enough for another attempt at the field goal and made it, so that was good. But we just didn't take advantage of the opportunities that we had, like you said, on the front end, and then the momentum got away from us, and we just didn't have a counter.
Didn't take much to figure out where that momentum got away from you there, like right there at the end of the first half. You had the block punt, the big touchdown. Did you almost sense that there was a little bit of deflation going after that?
Well, it's still early, it's still first half of the ball game, so we know there's time to rally and get things going again. But yeah, it was discouraging, no doubt. But if you coach the game long enough, 21 points is not a deficit that you can't come back on. You just got to, bang away and get some points on the board and try to swing the momentum and all that, but we just were not able to do that.
Like this, you guys are always talking about trying to keep the players focused on the very next week, very next game, the most important thing. But what's the coaches meeting like? What's it like when you guys talk to each other about a loss like this? And
well, you just have to look at every phase of what you're doing. And, it starts with the film, just to make sure we all know exactly what happened. Because you can have some thoughts and then look at the film and say, well, I thought it was this, but it really wasn't. So we got to, make sure that we do a great job of studying the film and finding the things that were problematic, and then we got to address them. Do you address it by personnel? Do you address it by changing scheme? Do you address it by, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. So, and then you got to be willing to make changes if need be, or you just got to be patient and consider that guys are learning as you go. It's just sometimes, it's just like on the punt block. We think we know what happened. We're pretty sure we know what happened, but we're gonna watch that film to be sure. But you get one guy makes a mistake, blocks the wrong guy, turns of somebody free inside. You gotta block punt. That's a problem. But if you say, oh well, we gotta take him out, put another guy in, then you start training that guy from scratch. Sometimes when you make a mistake like that, lessons learned that that is meaningful the rest of your career. So you don't start from scratch. But sometimes you may say, this guy has had an issue over and over and over. We gotta replace him. We gotta give another guy a chance, you know. So those are some of the things you got to think about and try to determine what to do.
Why do you think your two quarterbacks struggled so much today?
Why? I think Alabama played well. I think they squeezed the pocket. I think there was less space than what they were used to. I think that the coverage was better than what we've seen to this point, tighter coverage. And of course, you know, the conditions weren't great. I mean, it's not kind of whether you dial up to try to throw and catch all day long. So, I mean, I'm sure that had a little bit to do with it. But, and again, we'll watch tape and see exactly what happened. There's a couple things that I'm pretty sure that happened that you know, caused a pick on one particular play. But I mean, I'm not going to throw somebody under the bus until I'm 100% sure that. Well, I want to throw anybody under the bus, period. But I think there was a simple mistake by somebody that caused that to happen, and we got to learn and grow from those things.
It looked like Hunter Long played a lot of center in the second half. Is there an injury situation with Brandon Cablano?
Well, Brandon, I can't remember exactly what it was, but a lower leg injury that was just bothering him, and he just couldn't push off. We felt like he couldn't get any movement up front. We just needed to get a guy that was healthy.
Dominique
He was kind of gutting it out. I'm sorry. Yeah. Cablano was.
Dominique and Isaiah had to come out of the game.
Isaiah looked like a hamstring again. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's what it looked like. Dominique, I saw him after the game. I asked him if he was okay. He said he was, but I didn't talk to Ron yet. I don't know what's going on with that one.
Did you ever feel like y'all were hitting in rhythm at all today on any aspect, really?
I mean, there's some times I thought we played some pretty good defense on the front end. And then, you know, it's just like a couple times we punted, it's 4th and 1 or less, you know, deep in our territory. I mean, you can go for it if you want, but it's probably not wise if you don't make it. So it wasn't like we were getting, at least there was 1 or 2 drives that seemed like it was 4th and 1 or 4th and a little short when we ended up kicking. So we were having some progress, but not enough progress to move chains. But no, rhythm, no, we never got in any kind of rhythm, especially offensively.
On the short yardage punts, do you think you were a little too conservative there, or do you think those were too conservative?
Well, you know, early in the game, still a close game. You know, those things are great when you make them, but when you don't, it's just a lot of momentum that you give up as well. But I'm trying to think of all of them. I know at least one of them was, you know, fairly deep in our territory, and it's early in the game. I don't think it's the wise thing to do. There's one a little bit closer to midfield, I think, that we could have at that point, but it was still relatively early in the game.
Was the running game issues a matter of the numbers in the box, or just guys not?
I think I don't know. I wouldn't say we were outnumbered a bunch. I would say that we just didn't get the kind of movement that we needed. And you got to create space with your big man, and you got to create space with your tight end and your fullback by getting your hat in the right spot and running your feet and doing the things right fundamentally. We just really weren't getting any creases. It got a little bit better as the game went on, but they did a nice job.
Mark, what do you know about what happened pregame when Alabama came out on the field? It seemed like the two teams kind of got together.
I thought it was actually thought it was kind of mild, quite frankly. But you know, guys get excited. They jump around, get fired up, and all that. But you know, I was coaching at Florida State when we played Florida every year, and it was like that. Now that was pregame stuff, but that was very mild. And, you know, thankfully it didn't turn into something real stupid, but I didn't think much of it really.
Grand scheme of things, Chubb ties Herschel's record and spits that one out of there. I mean, does it matter?
I was glad for the kid. I was glad for Georgia to see us get in the end zone. You know? I mean, heard some cheering. That was nice. And, so that was the highlight of the day.
Can you learn
offensively, anyway?
I'm sorry, Mark. Can you learn more from losses than wins, generally speaking?
You probably do. As much as we work hard at making corrections after victories, you tend to maybe dig a little
Coach, you had a guy like Trent Thompson there his first start today. I mean, I know you haven't gone back and look at the film, but you got a young guy holding up. I mean, he's played pretty well.
It's hard to say. I didn't even look at the stats, see if he made any tackles and all. Sometimes a D lineman can have a great game and not even make a tackle if he does his job. But he's progressed enough to where we've got enough confidence in him to start him. A very talented young man and hard worker, and I think his best football is ahead of him.
Sorry, I feel like I answered this. What did Alabama do defensively to kind of take away Grayson and
Well, I think they were able to stop the run without putting themselves in a bad position in coverage. And they've got good cover people. They match up routes real well. They got guys, there weren't guys running free out there. I don't know if anybody ran free out there. We had the first play of the game was as close as we got to somebody running free. It seemed like in the whole game. And so it's a tribute to the job they did of covering. But that's part of football. You gotta be able to throw it into tight coverage and put it in a spot where we can get it and they can. You gotta be able to protect, give that quarterback space, and the quarterback's got to be able to put it on the money. We just didn't get it done tonight.
Which are you more impressed with coming out of this game, Alabama's defense or Ole Miss's offense?
Well, I didn't even think about Ole Miss tonight. Alabama's defense is outstanding. They have been for years, and that's nothing new.
Last question.
All right, gang.